Welcome
Go ahead.
to the Darkest Timeline podcast with Ken Jeong and Joel McHale. How are you doing tonight, Joel?
Just fine, Ken. Just fine. I thought I would rock back and forth. I'm at sea.
That's so cool. So I thought college
you're-
campuses were closed and online classes were the norm. So, what are you doing in a dorm room?
Hold on one second.
Bill, doing a podcast. Can you keep it down?
Okay, bro. Sorry about that. Hey, Joe, Ultimate Frisbee tomorrow. You going?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I call it
Great.
ultimate,
Don't use the word frisbee. It's insulting. It's like saying ping pong.
Ultimate disking on
say
Thursday or
dick.
Friday. Ultimate dick on Friday. You know what I'm talking about. See
Shut
the
up,
quad.
Bill.
I'm sorry, bro. Hey, man.
Bill.
Hey, Kegger and Faliers, you going? Hey, man. Kegger, you going to the...
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm talking to the guy. Yeah,
Sorry. I'm trying to. There's so many movies.
Who is it? Who you talking to, man? Who is it? I want to know.
Guy from All About Steve.
I'm not going to use that joke.
Oh my
anymore.
God, Ken Jeong, who played Angus fourth lead, he practically stole that movie. I'm a big fan. He stole it from the likes of Sandra Bullock, Bradley Cooper, and Thomas Hayden Church. Underrated.
Bill, you're so specific in your complimenting of Ken Jeong. It's very interesting that you know it that specifically.
I'm a film major, asshole. I'm a film major. I'm a cinephile. Dude, making Joe McHale laugh like an actual laugh. I haven't made Joe McHale laugh since 2011. So
Dude,
it's like
film major. I'm a film major. I'm familiar with everyone's work.
Dude, everyone's work. Ted. He just says the big year. I'm trying to
Film all.
figure out Spy Kids 4.
It's
Spider-Man 2.
called-
Informant. Great work.
Wow.
Oh.
You do know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Turbo.
You count animated movies, Bill?
Animated
You can't
movies.
animated movies, Bill.
Animated movies always count. And also, I just want to say, as of this
Here we
airing,
go.
as of this
Scooby-Doo?
airing, Scoob,
Are you gonna-
Scoob will be available on
Scooby-Doo?
on demand, home premiere, and
Scooby-Doo?
go on watchscoob.com. It has everybody that
Let's
you
watch
love. It's got Zac
Scooby-Doo.com.
Efron, Amanda Seyfried. It's got Gina Rodriguez. It's got Will
Mhm.
Forte, Mark Wahlberg, Kiersey Clemens, Tracy Morgan, and best of all, not Joel McHale. So go
How dare
and
you.
get
I am-
Scoob on
I
demand.
am in. I'm in
Joel
the movie
McHale
version of
as
Great
Scoob.
Babe coming out. Remember
But
Great Babe?
I love Great Babe. Dude, I grew up on Hanna-Barbera stuff, man, and I grew up on Laugh Olympics, Captain Caveman, and just all these man, it's just it's a
Did
lot
you
of
ever watch Cross Superstars?
Yes, I did. Oh my God, we are old,
back,
aren't
man.
we? Dude,
Oh, we are so old. We might as well. This might be the ARP podcast because tell me more about Life Alert.
I don't know, but I tell you, I had a reaction. I had an allergic reaction to my glucosamine, the other day for arthritis.
I just wish I had a quick, easy way to test it.
Oh man, it
Were
was.
your
By the way,
parents thrilled when my
Yep.
when my dad turned 65.
yeah.
Thrilled. He was just like discount city.
No,
Here we come.
My dad was just still. He was still working as a professor at economics. He was still working really until 75, 77. I mean, he just kept going. So to him, age was just a number, and it was.
He didn't want the discounts.
No,
That's
guess
what
so. I
my
guess
dad
he
was
was-
just excited. to get
Yeah,
the
I
discount.
mean, it's just it's so funny. We never really, he never really mentioned it. It was more like, I think I inherited that from my dad. When you're just always,
Are
you just want to
talking
keep
through
busy.
burps right now.
Say it again. Talking to my
You're like,
burp.
I just
Speaking
think
of which, it's
inherited-
nighttime. We're recording this, so we're gonna do maybe a little
that's
bit of Coke here.
a Coke vanilla, a Coke Zero vanilla with. What is that?
Heineken Light, bro. We're gonna do a little. This is a nighttime chat. We're recording this at night, and kids are in bed, and It's going to be.
Yeah, Heineken Light. That's going to get you really drunk. You're going to be.
It will.
Bladder's going to explode all over the place.
I think this is what I had at
I can't believe we have no sponsors, and we feature so many products that I'm going to start holding some up. But we like between the North Face and the Coke Zero and the Heineken, man.
Right.
How does it taste? Is it light and refreshing?
Light and refreshing, yet, but most of all, it's crisp. It's the perfect time to drink right now during COVID-19. It's amazing. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I'm sure
it's great.
Heineken would be thrilled with that. It's the perfect time to drink.
It's a perfect time. No, it's a perfect time to have a good time during COVID-19. Oh, our producer. Oh,
he's off like camera, guys. But
apparently he's drinking. He's drinking some ultra fresh Listerine, I guess.
He opened a bottle of bourbon.
Yeah. He goes, I want to get a little drunk, but I also have gingivitis. Great. All right. Mm-hmm.
Ken, I'm going to ask you a COVID question.
Yes, sir.
And now you guys going to hear Ken transition into a serious doctor voice. No, I just read this thing about the llamas. Have you been following that at all?
The llamas?
That the llamas have this antibody that they've used on MERS and SARS.
Drew Carey on The Masked Singer, like season 3, who I thought was Joel McHale. Where are you going, dude? I'll come on, man. No,
that was good.
I don't know anything about the llama antibodies. No.
Oh, all right. Well,
talk to me.
No, apparently they have used it in treating MERS and SARS, and it has the antibody kills in the lab, of course, kills the virus. And I looked at when it first came up on Reddit, I was like, nope, this is not. And then every New York Times and MSNBC, NBC, and Fox, they all had it. And so I was like, they were talking about how obviously there's billions of people locked down right now, and basically every laboratory is working on something, and they came across this.
Everyone has. So any llama owner, I mean, so are they just like totally? Well, they're drawing up their serum. Are they just drawing up the plasma? So
no, the llamas can.
Is the Michael Jackson estate just going nuts right now with all the llamas? You can get all the llamas that they have.
Now, and when you get the vaccine, you'll get a sweater, a beautiful llama hair sweater. This podcast has devolved into.
Yeah, this podcast. Well, it's a nighttime podcast, so it's kind of like the Darkest Timeline after dark, which sounds a bit redundant. So
it does.
No, but it's so that's interesting to me. If it worked, did they try the llama antibodies in human trials? No.
Well, I'm not sure. No.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Phase 2, you keep hearing like they're already in phase 2
for vaccines.
And to get to for vaccines. But for these phases, they wait sometimes years to just see what's going to happen to a person who got it a couple years ago.
Phase 2,
the vaccine.
Phase 2, a lot of times that's where the vaccine, that's where a lot of vaccines will start falling off, because phase 2 basically is it work. Phase 1 is it safe. So you pass phase 1. Is it safe? And then phase 2, does it work? Phase 2 is the most critical phase, because once it doesn't work, then all these companies that have invested millions of dollars, it doesn't go forward. So to me,
how long does it usually take? A phase 2, if it's a normal time.
In general, okay, you're talking about just vaccine development, take up to 5 years. So what we're doing right now is we're fast tracking something that can be unprecedented. So we're fast tracking something that will take, I don't know, maybe 5 years. They're trying to collapse it into 5 months, which is unheard of, but because it's a pandemic, we have
all the money and every single researcher is devoting their time to it.
Yeah, Is
there a chance there could be 2 vaccines?
I think there'll be multiple vaccines that will pass the test, and then out of those vaccines, they will find out in humans on a mass scale, delivered to millions of people, which one worked the best. So even on the flu shots and the flu vaccines, they change types of vaccines all the time. So in other words, one year you might get a flu vaccine from your doctor, and the next year you might get another company. You just won't know about it. It's just that this one covers this area of the flu in a little bit better way. So it's a lot like remdesivir compared to AZT. AZT is going, AZT just opened the door, but then it led to other HIV medications. So let's just say you have one great vaccine out there, but that one vaccine will lead to other vaccines being developed. So I think there'll be multiple candidates, and I think that I do think that this virus is genetically stable. There are mutations, but there are actually such a thing as good mutations where you can predict where the mutations are going, and if scientists can predict where the mutations are going, that means it's stable, and it's mutating in a way. It's just mutating in a way where it's kind of easily beatable. It just wants to survive. So I feel like this, that this virus. I think everyone's optimistic about a vaccine, cautiously, of course. But yeah. I think everyone's optimistic, and then studies show that.
I'm going to wait till you decide to get it.
Well, the vaccine.
Yeah, I'll just keep it. I was like, have you gotten it yet? Yeah, once it finally comes out.
I'd be happy to sign up. I'd be happy to sign up for a trial simply because, you just want to see if it works, because right now companies all over the country and all over the world are starting out with hundreds of people, and then that will escalate into thousands of people. And if that works, and you're seeing people on the antibody, positive for the antibody in the blood, then boom, you got a test that you can massively distribute. And then if that works, then by the fall, you could vaccinate high priority people meaning healthcare workers, essential workers, so people who need it the most. And then by March, you could distribute it, on a more global scale. That's in a perfect world, but as we know, perfect worlds don't happen. So tend not to happen. So, but there's I'm always towing that line between optimism and realism. And so realistically, that's why you get the standard 12 to 18 months is the vaccine. But in a perfect world, you can, if everyone gets their shit together, then we can do it right. But that means the federal government has to have more testing. That means everybody else has to catch up. And that's not a political statement. That's a medical statement. Because, like, for me, and I can say this on a personal level, my wife is a breast cancer survivor, and she only had a 23% chance to live. She had a triple negative breast cancer that went into her muscle. And I knew this was a very rare type of cancer with 23% chance of survival. So I went into doctor mode, and I rushed myself, because I was a doctor at Kaiser. They needed an MRI of the breast to see exactly where the tumor was. They told my wife 6 weeks. I finessed that system because I worked at Kaiser for 7 years, and I talked them into getting it the next day. And the next day, boom, we got it quickly. We got chemotherapy, like literally 5 days later. My wife took her board exam before she got her chemotherapy, aced that shit like a boss, just so she could recertify her license, saying that, I'm going to get weak from the chemo before the chemo, so I'll take it before the chemo, because after the chemo I'll get 2 weeks. She took the chemo, had her mastectomy, had more chemo, had radiation, and she is still here 11 years later. And to me, I'm all about acting fast. That's why I keep saying, if this country had its shit together, we could get this vaccine by September. That's a big if, and we have not got enough testing. And that's why you hear me rant and rave, and you see me go online. Like, why is Ken going online complaining about this? You know why? Because bottom line, tens of thousands of people's lives have been cost because of ineptitude, because of lack of action. And that's just it. And it's and more importantly, it's not just about the loss of life. It's the adjustment you make, realizing a mistake has been made. So at that point, the government should be pivoting and say, we got to get as many motherfucking tests all over the country. Didn't happen. Still not happening. And it angers me as a physician. It's not as a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. It angers me as a physician. And that's why we're doing this podcast. And that's why what you're doing with Dr. Schiffer at Fred Hutch, go to fredhutch.org/McHale, get all the info. And I think Joel and Josh are like, I watch this podcast religiously live on Instagram Live. Please go on Joel's Instagram Live. He does an amazing job. So it's really, Yes, you do. So
Can't
it's
take compliments.
look, I don't like giving it to you. Trust me.
Thank
I mean,
you.
You're talking to your friend
I'm too
Greg.
distracted by your biceps and what happened to them. Did you already donate them to science?
Yeah, I donated them to
Sorry. No.
You know what?
very
I
nice.
donated them to Triceps or Us, and then they returned it. They're like, we're Triceps or Us, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but I got my bot. Well, can I get my?
Go down the street to. No, I really appreciate what you can. I didn't know that stuff you said about. I didn't know that about in what stage and the rarity of her cancer. I did not know that at all.
Yeah,
and
man.
I remember you were filming
Yep.
Hangover at the time, and that was just it was just a terrifying.
It's all good.
Time.
It's all good. And here, you know what's even better right now?
Oh, hey, Danny, what's going on?
Danny, Shaklacky.
Hey, go Sonics.
Good evening.
What do
Hey,
you, Bulls? You're doing your
Bulls?
last dance, dog. So
Yeah.
good.
Did you order that?
No,
Where,
just kind of.
where'd you get that?
What do you think of the documentary so far, man? What do you think of the? I mean, I've been watching it religiously. So what do you think?
I'm into it. It's very nostalgic and
Do you think it's
bringing up
accurate?
a lot of.
Did the Bulls win in '98? Is it accurate?
I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know yet.
Danny,
Can't wait to see.
you're
who
from
wins.
Chicago and you lived there in the 90s. How could you not know?
I don't remember, Joe. I don't remember anything pre-community. I don't remember anything.
You don't remember anything pre-community and post-COVID. You don't remember anything.
That's a lot. It's good to see you. I actually worked at the United Center in high school. That was one of my first jobs as an
What did you
usher.
do? Oh my god, as an usher. Oh my god.
So I saw two playoff runs, which was pretty amazing. Best job I ever had. I was the worst at showing people where their seats were because I was so distracted. And I didn't care.
Siskel and Ebert were mad. They were so mad.
Wait,
you got them in the nosebleeds.
How do you even get that job?
It was part of my high school. We had this thing called the Andy Frayne. I don't know if you ever heard of it. I'm turning off that light. How's the lighting right now?
I liked it before.
I liked it before, actually.
Is that better?
That's better.
That's better.
All right.
Yeah. I like your long hair.
Thanks. Ugh, getting poofy.
I know.
There was this program called Andy Frayne at my high school. I went to an all-boys Catholic school, and you could volunteer.
Like
There
the
was
star of Shawshank Redemption, Andy Dufresne.
Whoa,
Yeah.
what's happening? You're all breaking up.
Who is? I am?
Is it me?
Now you're back. Okay. So, no, say that again.
I don't know. I went to this high school, which we had this program called Andy Frayne, and you could volunteer to usher at any of the sports facilities around Chicago. And because me and all of my friends, none of us could afford to get into the building, that was the best way to do it. So, taking
Dang.
300 level, I took tickets at Soldier Field for Bears games too, but that was not a good idea. It was too cold. So, being indoors, it was spectacular. Best show, still the best show I've ever seen live. Bulls. Bulls.
Wow.
Bulls.
Wow. That it really
How
is.
often did you get people to the wrong seat?
Most that was kind of my gig. People actually came to me, wanted to be directed to the wrong seat, and I would just constantly put them in a seat with somebody else, and then I'd walk away. And I'd wear this like really large sport coat, kind of like in Community when Abed had to dress like an adult. I had this like shoulder padded weird sport coat.
Like you were going to First Communion all the time?
Yeah, they couldn't find one that fit me because I had one shoulder.
Joel,
So you
Joel and Andrew, I haven't even told you guys this. I actually tried reaching out to Phil Jackson's people about getting him on the podcast. Yeah, and I actually emailed his agent, and he said no, and I should have said, I said, all right, I'm just gonna book Jeff Van Gundy. That's fine. All right, that's fine, and then we'll see what happens. He'll talk all this smack about you. So, but my secret goal was to try to book. Because I love Phil Jackson so much, and Sacred Hoops, his book, is just like marrying Zen. It's like Zen Buddhism or Zen Christianity into basketball. It's like Zen and the art of basketball. It's like an amazing read about just everything about that book is perfect. He's like, basketball is just like, your hands, like 5 fingers to a hand. You have to play in perfect synchrony. It's just all these things. It's just, I remember reading that in med school, and I was like, man, this is really, really, I read it many times. This is just a great way just to calm down after
You went to med school, Ken?
I went to what? Look, it's been 20 minutes, and I have to mention that as part of my writer. As part of my.
Look at that.
I'm not really attached to it anyway, but I've highly enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that book. That's amazing.
Great, a lot of fun quotes in there.
So, Danny, did you ever take anybody down to like courtside? You were like, "Oh, these are the nice seats. You are courtside."
They didn't let me up there. No, I was assigned permanently to the 300 level.
That'd be
Bye,
great.
Danny.
Oh, yeah, I'll see you later, Danny. Oh my God,
That was great.
this is like being John Malkovich here. The way you're kind of going in and out, it's like a Spike Jones podcast. It's great.
I'll stay.
Okay.
So
This part of the show sponsored by Adidas.
I know.
And
Oh my
a
God.
right shoulder.
Yeah. Episode 11, starring Danny's left shoulder. It's amazing. Oh my God.
How about my?
Oh my God.
How
And
are
look.
the Bears? How are the Bears? How were the Bears in the 90s?
Let's talk about the Bulls. Bulls. White Sox are pretty.
I'm a Sonics fan, so I'm upset.
I know. Oh, dude. Let's talk about the year 1996, Joel.
Let's stop.
When the Bulls beat the Sonics.
I'm not
when
talking
Gary
about
Payton...
the year that you turned 45.
Lucky number. Jordan scored 45 in his final game in 98, and he was the number 45
What?
in 95.
Was
So
that
it's
when
not an
right, yeah, when he was on the Wizards. I love those games.
No, on the Bulls when he came back from baseball. So you think it's an insult. It actually is a compliment, and it makes me stronger.
I'm just mad. I'm a Sonics fan. But I admire him. I love it.
Fan of basketball and the cheeseburgers. You're a big Sonic fan.
Sean Kemp. Video.
Sean Kemp was the most unheralded, basketball player in the 90s. There was a world where Sean Kemp, people were saying in that 96 finals that Sean Kemp was the MVP, even played better than Jordan consistently in that series. He was that good.
He was incredible.
Rodman could not stop Sean Kemp that time.
Most fun to play an NBA Jam. He was just unstoppable. He's the most fun to play an NBA Jam. He's heating up.
I remember he played against the Knicks, and he dunked over Patrick Ewing in a 360 through the air, and Patrick Ewing burst out laughing. He was like, "What are you doing? What is this? Who are you? What the hell's happening?"
My favorite Gary Payton Michael Jordan thing was Gary Payton was a rookie, and he just signed a massive contract, and he ran into Michael Jordan somewhere and said, I got the same Ferrari you did. See, MJ, it's just my rookie year, and I bought I bought this Ferrari. And Jordan goes, "Really? I get mine for free." So that.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Have they? I haven't even seen. This is terrible because I haven't seen it. Did they cover him on Saturday Night Live? Did they talk about that? When
they did.
He was even good at that.
He was
so
great
good
at that. Yeah.
He was so funny. It's great.
Remember the Stuart Smalley, the Al Franken sketch? He goes,
one of the greatest of all time.
I've watched that Michael Jordan SNL so many times where he would go, yeah. So let's just say Michael J, to protect your anonymity, or preserve your anonymity. So, let's just pretend that you're the best basketball player in the world. And let's just say that I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. And then Michael looks at the mirror and just says it so sincerely. It's so funny. And Jordan, he's just the man. I mean,
you get him on the show, Ken, like you did Phil Jackson.
I'm getting.
One of my favorite players
on this show.
I'll stop. We should. One of my favorite players because he was Robert Horry.
Dude, I love Horry. Oh my God, really?
Every time I just thought if it was overtime, I was like, it's always gonna go to him, and he's always gonna hit it.
He will always make it.
I remember in one of the Lakers
more
finals.
Championships than Jordan. He's won 7 rings.
Wow.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I remember in one of the Lakers finals, it was overtime and all that stuff, and Robert Horry was looking down at the play, and he just yawned, and then he yawned, and then he hit the game-winning shot, and I was just like, oh, that's when I'm like, oh, yep, there is a God, because that doesn't make any sense. That is just that's perfection.
I mean, that Robert Horry shot against the Sacramento Kings in 2002. I'm such an NBA file where it was in game 4, and if he doesn't make that shot, the Lakers lose. They go down 3-1, and his last second shot tied up the Lakers and the Kings at 2-all. It's just, he is so clutch, and through the course of it's like the older he got, the way more clutch he got. It was ridiculous because he'd be wide open because everyone was covering Shaq and Kobe, and then Robert Horry, same thing when he was on the Spurs. Everyone's covering Tim Duncan. Yep. Horry's wide open. Amazing.
Danny, I swear we'll ask you a question or two at some point. But no, I played high school basketball on a pretty good team in Washington State. And I was always like, oh, we're good. I got in. I didn't get in too much. That's how good we were. Thank you. Our starting guard was usually like 6'5".
Wow.
I didn't realize you play. I knew you played football. You played basketball. Oh my God.
Thank you. Yeah, I played basketball too.
Amazing.
No, but I was always like, oh, I'm good at basketball. I always thought like, I'm pretty good. I'm good in a game. I can be. I wasn't a starter, but I'm like, and then I thought the starters, I was like, those guys are really good. And then you realize who's going to the NBA. And there was one guy this guy named Mark Pope, who ended up on the Pacers.
I've heard of him.
And it might as well have been like a 10th grader showing up to play second graders, because he was so far way ahead of us. And I was like, oh, this is how good you have to be. And I was like, I need to go write fart jokes, a lot of them.
What did you play? What position?
Where?
What did you play?
I played number 4 because the coach just
power forward. You're power forward. That's amazing.
Thank you. No, but they would put me in because I was the most kind of out of control, and I would knock people around. And so when they would need someone like that, they would put that.
You're the Dennis. You're the Horace Grant. You're like the Dennis Rodman. That's.
Yeah, but Dennis Rodman could. He was. Yeah, he was a talented athlete on a level that was uncanny. Whereas I would just be like, "Here I come!" I was like the Kool-Aid guy. And I was, I would just scream gangway, and then I would scream ramming speed right before I would drive into the key. But no, but I remember seeing Mark Pope. He was also the nicest guy you'd ever met, but he would just dunk every time he got the ball if he wanted to. It was just, it was great. I'll stop talking now. We got to talk.
Joel, you're like a 2-sport star. That's. No, you ran in college, Danny? Did you run?
For Marquette?
Cross country? No.
No. He broke his nose so many times running that he wasn't allowed on the team.
Oh, want to talk about that one? Want to talk about that?
Talk about that?
We'll talk about that.
So what season was that? Season 3?
Season 6.
Season 5?
Season 6. You texted me.
Was it really?
Yeah. Or maybe it was 5. I don't know now. Trust me, someone on Twitter will tell me. Yeah.
Well, it was definitely with Hickey, where Hickey and I were combining when he was doing his duck cartoons. Remember Jim the Duck?
Oh, Abed. Love that episode.
He was so funny.
I'll punch your heart out. Abed, you're not going anywhere. I'm handcuffing you. Handcuffing you to a filing cabinet. Oh, Abed, he's special.
I didn't know you did his ADR in that episode. That's amazing.
He was so funny.
I had a scene where I had to wear a kick puncher.
Jonathan Banks. To wear what?
I had to wear a kick puncher outfit, and I had to wear a mask that week. I just remember that because I went for a run because I was done filming early one day. I went to a trail where I run frequently, and this particular run was different. I fell, and you know how I fall. I fall with face first and with my hands behind my back. And so I cracked my nose. I got up, and I was like, oh, shit, something is not right.
How was the pain level?
To be honest, it wasn't really painful. It was just shock. I was just shocked, like, and I think because I knocked myself out, I got a concussion, and so when I got up, I was like, "What is going on?" I was just kind of like out of it a little bit, and then a woman. Yeah, I saw a woman with a dog, and then I ended up kind of like running to my car, and I looked in my rear view mirror, and I noticed right away. I was like, "Oh no, my like bone is sticking out," and my
Oh no.
And could the woman see what was going on? Or did you imagine the woman and it was actually Betsy Ross or something like that? Was it during the hallucination? You're like, why is Betsy Ross walking a dog on this trail? I don't know. I'm going back to the car.
Why is Dolly Parton telling me to go to urgent care?
What is happening?
Why am I Jolene with Dolly Parton?
Barbara Bush is walking on this trail with no security. She just walked right by me. Okay, that's fine. Weird.
So I take off my shirt, wrap it around my face, and drive myself to the emergency room. And
Oh my God.
You were shirtless in the emergency room.
I had nothing to stop the bleeding because blood gushing everywhere, right? So I get to the emergency room. They figure it out. They sew me up a little bit. Then I come back to set because, of course, Community is like, we need you to try on this face mask for Kick Puncher. So I get there, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to film then.
What is Bridget, your lovely, lovely wife, what is she saying to you at this point? Maybe you shouldn't go back to set because you have a broken nose as of 4 hours ago?
By this point in time in our relationship, she's seen me fall many times. She's seen me break my eyebrows off. She's also we've delivered babies, and then I've had to go back to work on the set of Community like 2 days later. So I think she's seen a lot, and I don't want to say she's not surprised, but she's also like,
she's a veteran. She's been hardened.
You gotta.
Okay, so you're all bandaged up. You go to try on a mask. Go ahead. Sorry.
They're like, we don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna try to get VFX to touch you up, and we'll try to shoot your back. And then you tell me, actually, Joel, that this great plastic surgeon, and so I get the plastic surgeon's information, and to help me reset my nose because the ER didn't do that. And I go to the plastic surgeon. He thinks I'm there for a nose job, and I tell him like.
He's like, you definitely need one.
He's like, broke your nose? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, all right, well, while I'm in there, you want me to kind of touch it up a little bit? Joel sent me. He's like, I know.
and he references celebrities as the type of no job. Hey, do you want the Michael Jackson or the Jennifer Grey? Do you want that one? You let me know. I can do either while I'm there. So,
I mean, we're there.
While we're there,
yeah,
you just come in, and you come in at the end of that Hickey episode with the most delicate,
beautifully
nose
of a swan.
Yeah, you come in with dermabrasion. You just totally looking like my.
Danny's lips are so luscious now. What happened? Ever since the nose break, what is it about him? And his eyebrows are incredible.
Danny Pudi looked like Demi Lovato all of a sudden. I don't know.
I can't remember who I recommended. That's not good.
Yeah. Oh my God. Joel's like, you went to him? Oh my God. That's my urologist.
He did a good job.
He was amazing. He was fantastic because right away he was like, oh yeah, like I want to at least redo the stitches and set your nose. I had surgery that day. Transpo from Community. Paul. Remember Paul?
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Nice
he
man.
Had to pick me up because I went under and I couldn't drive. So he drove me back home after that quick surgery. But it was great. I was back shooting. That was on a Friday, I think, and I was back shooting on Monday.
I remember you in the makeup chair.
Yeah.
And I think Gina, the lovely Gina, was doing it, and the brush strokes were the most careful.
Oh my God.
The application of makeup was stunningly good.
It was so Gina and Pam, God bless them. They were angels that week because they had to figure out how to put makeup around my nose. I mean, I had a gaping wound right there.
I had
10 stitches in my lip, and I also had a hole in my lip that fall.
Oh, I don't remember. Wow, you had.
Yeah.
You don't remember, Ken? What a thoughtful fellow cast member. I don't remember my friend breaking his nose and showing.
No, I remember the breaking the nose. I didn't know about the lip.
So
I didn't
Here's
remember.
what I remember. The plastic shirt. No, I remember, and I swear to you, I was trying not. Everything I say sounds like I'm a dick, so I get it. But
Wait, yeah, the guy who says he's a dick actually calls a doctor on behalf of his friend and like arranges everything. No, you were
a doctor
behind the
goes-
scenes.
then a
That's the
doctor
thing.
goes,
That's the biggest fake narrative of Joe McHale. He's like, he's a dick.
Oh, no,
He's
no, no.
stupid. And
Stop. This is not
he's
helpful.
obnoxious. He's just a poor listener. He's
Listen.
just he's got the worst.
No, but
choice.
I remember the conversation. Thank you, Ken. I can't take that. When I remember going,
Joel,
what
Rick,
happened? Do
gentle
you remember this conversation? Say again.
take it, Joel. You're a kind, gentle spirit. You're helpful. You were the first one to take it, Joel. Take it.
I'm
Take it.
leaving.
First one to offer me help. You suggested a nose job. I didn't get it because it's my defining feature. But still, you were trying to help me.
You're the worst. No, here was the conversation, and I hate you. I hate both of you. No, listen. I remember you sitting in. I remember seeing you and going, "Oh, what happened?" And and he was like, "I broke my nose running." And I remember like, "How did?" I remember going, "How did it happen?" And you were just like, "Well, I fell." I was like, "Right. How? I mean, you fall, and then your arms instinctively." And that's one of the reasons why the human race has survived is because your arms are flying up in the air to stop. Don't let the head part of the human hit, because that's the important part. Everything else can be sacrificed. Fingers, arms, toes, feet. As long as the head area is okay. But I remember I was so I was like, but how did your face just hit the ground and your arms didn't get there? I remember being very because, and I will say this, Danny is he's a very good athlete. He's fast as lightning.
Oh
as
my
a
God.
runner.
Yeah.
So that's why I was so like, how did your arms not? They were like, not today. We've worked too hard this week. You can do whatever you want. Try the nose. I dare you.
That's my favorite thing about that conversation. I just remember trying to explain, you trying to explain to me how to fall. Being like a very, I guess, early lesson I should have learned is like your hand should go up right away. But I had headphones in, and I tripped over this like trail chain, and it was on a trail. It was rugged terrain.
Oh.
It happened real fast.
Well, that's it. Is that you were basically, there was like a rabbit trap for you, basically. Like you were, or a deer trap where they just put out a wire and ran, through. So it happened so fast, there's no way your arms could get there.
No, I wasn't paying attention. It didn't
And
happen.
were you holding like your phone or like a drink in your hands too?
Oh, so I'm holding my phone.
Heineken Light.
So it wasn't like I just had free hands to protect my face.
That
That's like Ricky Bobby in like the first scene of Talladega Nights, right? That's how Danny Pudi does his interviews. Well, everyone drove well. Everyone drove good today. Everyone did good. This is Danny at every junket. Oh, no, it was great. Abed was just heart and soul of the show. It's just really good. It's about a bunch of perfect odd couple
all right,
pairings
so
on Community.
I'm glad your nose looks amazing, and you can't even tell you had stitches on your lip. It's very. I want to let you know if you can see close enough here. Can you see that little whap right there?
Yeah.
Hold on, right there. See that?
Yeah.
That happened the week before COVID broke out, and I
No
just
way.
in my 12-year-old's class, the 6th grade class, there was this little partition out, and I was just like, "See ya," and I turned, and I just didn't see it. I just go whap, and the entire class started. They all started screaming, and I'm like, "I'm fine," and I got in the car. And I went like that, and the thing just opened up.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, I can see my bone. And and I remember then I was at the urgent care, and I said, how many people are calling? It was like when I was like, how many people are calling in about this COVID thing? They're like, we can't put the phone down. And I was like, how many people are blaming Corona beer? And they're like, you'd be surprised how many. I'm like, anyway, let's fix it. And they glued it together. And then
They glued it together. They didn't do sutures.
No, I wouldn't let them do sutures. I said glue it because I know that that the sutures leave little holes on either side, and I was like, I'd rather have a slightly wider scar than the little holes. Thank you.
Oh.
Does that make sense, Ken? Is that stupid?
No,
They just filled it in with glue and held it, and then a little piece of tape over it.
What do you think?
I mean, it is a lesser of the evils, I suppose. I don't know the depth of that injury, but obviously, if they agreed to do it, there was a choice. A lot of times you don't have a choice. So, but yeah, it is true. On your face, you can get scarring there, but also the areas of your face are very vascular, so it can heal up quickly. But
you know what vascular means, right, Danny?
Congratulations, Joel.
I miss you so much. I wish we all lived together.
I know. I wish.
Can we?
I think our wives at various points in our lives wish we all could live together too.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck yes.
They would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like
Ken, do you
literally
think there's
six eyes are rolling right now as we're speaking right now.
No, they're going like, is that a possibility that you guys could just move in together?
Run that scenario.
That would be. Let's just explore.
Yeah, Tran goes, I'm listening. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And,
Do you think in a science fiction world, Ken, if the virus just gets worse and worse and we never find a vaccine, we just start pairing off into like groups of 4 or 5 families, and we just live on like walled compounds, like villages in the Middle Ages, and then we all just get to know each other really well, and then our daughters marry the sons, and then it's really incestuous.
it will be like the others from Lost. It will be that kind of 4th or 5th season of Lost.
The Nicole Kidman movie?
That's what. Say it again. What'd you say?
That Nicole Kidman movie? I don't remember that during Lost. Did they watch that? Sorry.
In the face, I mean, you hear all the negative things going on politically and in the world and medically. I think everyone is. The virus is the vaccine's gonna happen. It's about reaching herd immunity. It's about getting 70% of the population having antibodies to this and making sure those antibodies are markers for immunity, and then we can go on with our lives. It will take a while.
So we can't move in with each other?
Yeah.
Can I finish talking about herd immunity first?
No, it's great. No.
Can I finish?
Sorry, go ahead.
Let me finish about herd immunity, because that is why we shouldn't live together.
Okay, what about this?
Hey, don't deny the science to...
What if I was like, Ken, good news. Phil Jackson has agreed to move in with me.
You know what? I don't think we'll ever reach immunity. It's really good if Phil Jackson just comes in and just explains to me and Danny at least.
Robert Horry's here
and
too.
You about and Robert Horry can come. Robert Horry, I think it's like you, me, Danny, Robert Horry, and Phil Jackson. We just have this Big Brother kind of like programming that goes on in perpetuity, and I think that will it'll be great. We should form our own rec league. It should be like 5 people living in different homes, and then we'll all be like intramural basketball teams, just playing
we'll be
with each
close to each other all the time, vascular, if you will.
Be vascular. Yeah, and we'll make sure that Danny guards people without a phone in his right hand. It'll be fine.
What happened? It's like Robert Horry's like, he fouled me again. What did he do? He rammed his nose into.
Whoa! He hit me with his iPhone 11. Okay.
Bird face. Hey, bird face. Get your beak out of my chest.
I'm gonna say now. I'm gonna compliment.
Who are you doing an impression of? Gillian? Is that?
Who called you bird face?
Was that you, Joe? Did you start the bird face thing?
It was in the script, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a classic Joel Zing. It's a little bit too sophisticated for him, but it's
look at bird face. Somebody cracked their beak.
It's a little bit too intellectual for Joel, but the cadence of a joke sounds like Joel.
Like that.
Joel's not sophisticated to come up with 2-syllable zings.
This was on the heels of Lee Curtis. On the heels of Brown, Jamie Lee Curtis.
My gosh. So
again, that was my doing as well, because I got a haircut prematurely, and all of a sudden when I got a haircut, I wasn't supposed to get. I showed up to set, and everyone's like, "You look like Jamie Lee Curtis," and I was like, "That is not true." And then I looked in the mirror, and I watched True Lies, and I realized I looked exactly like Curtis.
But that line was in the show, wasn't it?
That in the script though, or
in the script?
I got that haircut.
I thought the script came first.
That's a good question.
I think, to my memory, which is completely unreliable, I think that Joel, I think that comments were mentioned, and then in a later episode that was worked in the script seemed to be, because that was like the final line of a scene where Jeff Winger
not come out of. I did not make that up.
And because it was. It didn't. It definitely. It was in the rhythm, because ad libs are. You can tell. You can almost tell when ad libs are, when improv is done. But everything, there was a very strict flow.
We could tell when you were improvising.
You could tell. But you know why? Because I look into the camera. That's how you steal a scene.
You looked in the camera, and then a little Chiron would come up tonight, and it would say, "Tonight on a 2-hour community episode."
We just, on behalf of NBC Community and Sony, all of us agree. We never agree on anything. Network, studio, and producers, we all agree on this. Ken Jeong is a ham, and he's looking at the camera too much.
Unusable content.
The reason why we got canceled early.
Oh my gosh. I was insulting you, and then you insulted yourself, and it makes me look more like a dick. Damn it. Anyway, so wait, Danny.
Yes.
Now I'm going to change subjects again and compliment you. I'm sorry. I hate to do it, but I look, and I think Ken is in full agreement. Nobody pulled off a character like Abed on ever up to that point, I don't think. And I just, every time people would be like, every time we talk about the show, and I'd just be like, that Danny, he needs about 12 Emmys for what he's doing right now. And people are like, oh, I was like, you need to see what he's pulling off every week. And because mine was always like, wee, wee, sarcastic comment, boom, and I was out. But Danny was doing something on like just, I hate to use the phrase next level, because it was like 12 levels above. And I think people still talk about that. And they obviously they're still talking about it because we're talking about it. But I just, every time when I watch it with the kids, it's when I watch it, I'm just like, man. And then like Chang would walk in, I'm like, here we go again. But anyway,
no one prepared more than Danny Pudi for an episode. Like when you talk about My Dinner with Andre episode, he researches that. When you talk about any. When there's a theme of any episode, and Abed,
say that again. Repeat that, Ken. Go ahead. I'm not kidding. For technical, yeah.
No, really, where it basically no one prepares more than Danny Pudi for a community episode. Like for example, with My Dinner with Andre, that episode doesn't land unless Abed and Danny Pudi, unless you pull off that performance. That I feel like that watching it now years later. That episode does not become a classic if you don't prepare and absorb yourself in character, because out of all of us, you really had to transition into character. There was right before, when you go and action, Abed was different from Danny, and you had to, and I've always respected that. You had to work much harder than all of us just to be prepared when the camera's on. Mm-hmm. And it was always something that we all took for granted, and you were so mellow and so chill about it. But, when I think about it now, it's like, wow, other actors, other lesser talented actors, it would take 2 or 3 minutes to get into character. And it's not unfeasible if you were to tell the director every time you go, go in an episode, hey, can you just give me 1 or 2 minutes before, let me just get into character, But you just landed it, and I would see it. I would see it like you would just go. You'd be Danny really for a second talking about Bridget and the kids. Oh, this is great, and action, and then you would just boom. It was like dialed in. It was like I don't know of any other actor that can go just like that. It's so hard to do. So yeah, I think we're it's really, really hard. And I think that, and I, as an outsider, look at Jeff Winger and Abed as kind of this. I feel like it's almost like the duality of Dan Harmon. I feel like the show has been, the series is through the eyes of Winger and Abed, and when you look, when you binge watch the series, you're like, that's a big responsibility for you two to have. I mean, we joke about it, we say we have fun, and we're joking around on set, but there's a lot of hard work going on, man. That, I mean, you both had the largest monologues of anyone consistently on the show. Never complained. It's just like neither of you looked at it and just kind of like roll your sleeves up and boom.
Well, I did it for the money. Danny, before you say thank you, do you remember what you did in your audition when Dan and the Russo brothers and a couple producers were there? Do you remember we were in an office at Sony? Do you remember what you did?
Chemistry read with you?
Yes.
That we're talking about? So I remember a couple of things from that chemistry read.
All right, well then never mind. No, I'm kidding.
Moving on. What was your favorite episode?
Oh, so you remember. Anyway, let's go ahead.
So you remember. Oh, that's good. Moving on.
Okay. No, so go ahead.
I'm crazy, wasn't it?
Let's see if it's what you remember, Joel. So I remember.
I don't remember. I remember the one thing you did where I went, oh, this guy, man. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I remember shaking your hand in a very weird way. Do you remember that?
That's it.
Okay. So that.
And do you know what you did?
I just not knowing where to shake your hand and getting it too close to your chest, right?
You put your fingers into my chest, and I had to go up here like this in the. I didn't even realize what was happening, and I remember Anthony Russo just going like, ha ha, and just losing his mind when he saw it, and I was like, I was just trying to, and I remember going, this is so fucking different than. Because there had been a number of other people that read for it, and I mean, including Ken. And sorry.
Remember, I kept calling you every day. Did I get? Hey, fingers crossed. I really think I aced this.
No,
I hope no one else
never give up. Just keep on trying. You're doing great. Just keep on trying. That's the whole thing about Hollywood. Am I right?
The Russo's assistant said this was the best pre-read they've ever seen. I had a pre-read.
Yeah, it was it was in your car, right? By yourself?
Can you imagine that? Like, hey, like we're on a series, and then like 10 years later, he goes, you know what, dude? I should have been Abed, man.
Call you on here to ambush you?
Yeah.
Wait, Danny, we didn't hear that. What did you say, Danny?
You're just telling me that you went in for Abed?
Horrible. I feel terrible.
Can't believe you buried that. Like, I would have been cool with that. We could have ran live, man.
We could have ran live. You're like the nicest, even down to the wire in a callback. Hey, you want to run lines? Not with you, you fucking saint. I don't want to be that.
That's it. Fucking saint.
So I that from the chemistry. I do remember you being that's when everything clicked for me, to be totally honest. Like, and that, because I had gone in already like 3 times, I think, for the role.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had a producer session. I think I did have a pre-read with, was it Dava Paisley?
Yeah,
he was amazing.
She was amazing, and then I think I had a third one, which was like another producer session, and then I had that chemistry with you, I believe. It was either the third or fourth meeting. And once it was
before, So that was your third meeting. So at that point you hadn't tested. Obviously you hadn't tested, but
no,
that's a studio or a network test forever, which we talk about later. But I didn't realize that was your third time. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was like the third or fourth time, and you know how it gets with the audition process. It get higher, but we're still doing the same scene over and over again, right? Which was an opening monologue with you and I, where I'm orbiting you. Talking about my name's Abed, by the way, and I think it was all of it was a reaction to you asking me what time it was. I think that whole monologue. Yeah.
Right.
But it was really tough because each time I had to keep doing that monologue over and over again with people. And I just remember that chemistry read, Joe Russo, I believe, said something to me was just like, just do whatever you want. You know,
he didn't say it like that. He goes, yeah, just do whatever you want. Just do with these two fingers.
Danny,
just do this two fingers.
Young great.
Just do
Anyway.
these two other two fingers. You got a Danish? All right, Joe.
I just got Tracy McGrady on my fantasy team, and I'm thrilled. Anyway, just go back in there. Do it faster.
Yeah, that was great, Danny. Just do it a lot faster. All right, and action.
By the way, Joe Russo is about 35 at this time, so
yeah.
Doesn't sound like.
Yeah, Joe just graduated from college.
So, and then I think I ended up taking my lip balm out, and they were like, yeah, love it, do that. Like, they were just like, do whatever. You were incredibly giving in that chemistry, so that helped a ton. You really were. Take it, Joel.
See, Ken. See, now I'm just diverting on to Ken.
Joel, you are a good leader.
I was generous in a scene.
Yeah.
Look, this is how small I feel. Like when your head goes out this way while you're saying I'm like Lily back here.
See, Ken.
All right, I'm sorry.
That was.
So that happened. Now that I'm done reminiscing about that, thank you both for saying such nice things. I really appreciate that. I just loved playing Abed. It was such a wonderful character, but I also was like so stressed out about playing him and just.
Yeah, it was the most work. It's just.
I knew there was so much that went into it, and for me, that was something I just really wanted to do justice to Dan's writing, everyone's writing in the world, and and to make it feel like I actually knew what I was talking about. So that was me in the corner, learning my Dinner with Andre or John Hamm impressions, whatever I had to do that week.
I just saw tonight for dinner, over dinner, like sometimes we'll watch either like a Community episode or The Simpsons, and we actually saw the 3rd season flashback episode, the one where with John Hodgman, and you do a John Hamm, just a really brief John Hamm, and then the camera goes to Allison Brie just real quick, and it's just boom, it was just amazing. Just one, and it's so hard in that flashback episode to put in all the jokes and all the scenes, and just watching it, you just did. It's really amazing directing, and then amazing performance of like how to get a joke in like 1.5 seconds. It was beautiful to watch.
So I was speaking of 1.5 second jokes. I was thinking of someone asked me like about a Abed joke where I was like, oh, that was such a distinct, perfect Abed joke, and it was in the bagel episode when Britta walks in with a bag of bagels.
Mm-hmm.
He spills the bagels on the floor, and Abed turns and looks down and just goes 13. And that to me was such just a perfect moment for me where I was like, oh, this is like what a joy to play Abed. But I was like, man, the writers, Dan, God, did they nail it so many times where I was just like, it just gave me so much. So it made in some ways where I knew where I was going. It gave me a map. Anytime it was written something like that, I was like, I know exactly where to go, how to play, how to be here. Those were those moments where I was like, God, our show was so fast and so honest in moments,
I mean, but this whole episode was about Abed and therapy, and that was the reason why. And everyone else goes to support Abed in therapy with John Hodgman. And then the first of the flashbacks is just Abed, just quote unquote, going off unhinged and being meaner than usual. And it's just like you're just going. One of the funniest things is Shirley is talking about Brett Ratner for like the longest time. Oh my God, Brett Ratner, he is like the newest Spielberg. His movies are so good. And it's just so
like
he just draws you in, and it's a great monologue, and it's perfectly delivered, and you know where you're going with it. And then, and I'd forgotten, like you I thought you would just do the joke and leave. You actually went like, excuse me, I have to leave, and then you go in, out of camera, you go back in a frame. You're a bad person. You're a bad person. You're a bad person. Tran and I, we were just crying laughing tonight, and then watching you do narration on how Pierce eats a tuna salad sandwich it was just with you and Chevy, and then Pierce just being annoyed. Stop commenting on my sandwich. Says the old man who eats. And it was so, oh my God, it was just next level stuff. And no, that was the thing about Abed. He could be expository, and then okay, we want you to be the funniest guy on the show, and then boom, okay, whatever you want me to do. You had for a character that was supposedly was considered to have a lot of constraints or boundaries socially in life, that you just had unlimited range of where how to service a story. And the older I get, the more I really, really appreciate that. There's just a lot of work on something that makes it look so easy. So.
Well, when you've been around as long as you have, Ken, you've seen so much. The fact that you're here for the Spanish flu and the COVID.
He was here during the Spanish flu.
He just got out of graduate school and Spanish flu.
Danny Pudi is so good. He reminds me of before we had talkies. I
was talking to Fatty Arbuckle and oh, sorry, Danny.
That dude, that's a great reference, Joel.
Yeah. Oh, the kids are gonna love that one.
Oh my God!
When they go look up Fatty Arbuckle.
Yeah, you know who's gonna laugh? Millennials. Yeah.
Hey, Arbuckle. Is it Buckles or is it singular?
Singular.
Fatty Arbuckle. You know about him? I'm not gonna look. Just look it up. You can look it up.
Congratulations, Joel.
Chris Farley was supposed to play Fatty Arbuckle in a biopic before he passed away. Yeah, he was.
Really?
That was supposed to be the big. That was supposed to be the big project. Yeah, that he was attached to.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, and which is a segue to you won a scholarship, right, to Marquette? Was it the Chris Farley? It was like a Chris Farley scholarship. That was amazing.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was called that.
Yeah, so he passed away, and I was a huge fan of him on SNL. Obviously, like many people were. Growing up in Chicago, big fan of Second City, SNL. That was like my first dream, right? And I actually went to Marquette University where he went, and after he passed away, they established a scholarship in his name, and I was nominated for it by my theater instructor, Phyllis Ravel. She was incredible. She's the first person who believed in me and was like, "You can do this as a career." And no one ever told me that.
You still friends with her?
She passed away too, unfortunately.
Oh.
But she was like just a huge force in my life. She was literally like the first person who was like, just kind of try taking this seriously, But anyway, so they established the scholarship and in his name afterwards. And I think that was the first time where I was like, okay, so I didn't know anything. Grew up immigrant family, that didn't know anything about acting and that kind of thing. There was nobody in my family or network who was like, hey, why don't you go here, go to Second City to do this kind of thing. So when I won that scholarship, that's when I was like, oh, okay, I will maybe follow it in his footsteps. What did he do? So Chris Farley studied at Second City. That's where I went right after college. And that's where I really got into comedy. And I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. Loved it. Had some amazing teachers there. And that's, legends, Steve Carell, Colbert, Tina Fey, all of them, Tim Meadows, just so many people there. And I think that's when I started to figure out like, oh, I think this is what I want to do. And that's when there was an NBC showcase at the time there, which they invited me to participate in. That led me to do an NBC showcase in LA. And that's how I convinced Bridget to move to LA.
What year was that?
That was 2005.
2005.
Yeah. So end of 2005. Yeah.
Ken had just celebrated his 82nd birthday. Amazing.
Oh man, it was great. I just got a walker and for my hip, and it was just replaced. And it was I remember 05 very well. The Spurs had won their 4th or 5th championship at that.
So you saw George the Iceman Gervin.
Say it again.
You saw George the Iceman Gervin play live?
Saw him. Oh my God, I was his towel boy for like 2 seasons. It was amazing.
What were towels
Ice
like
cold,
back then?
cold as ice. Really was. He sweated ice cubes. It was amazing. No, I mean it's great that you had the Chris Farley scholarship. I had the Joe Piscopo work study, internship that I lost out to Joe Piscopo. He won it.
no.
It was kind of rigged.
Career. You had
I mean,
a real career. I did not have a real career. I graduated with a communication studies degree and zero backup plans. So I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, I just want to act. I don't know how I'm going to get there.
That reminds me. The first season, towards the end of the first season, you had your buddies from Chicago, from I think like your day job, and they're all just came and they were so happy for me. Community was already established as a hit on NBC, and then they're coming in, and just to see them so happy for you, it made me just boil with rage. It made me so happy to see your friends just so proud of you, and like, I would talk to them, on the set too, and they're just telling me what they're doing, and they were just like, man, we always knew Danny would make it. It was just there was so much love, and I said I will never tell him this.
Don't you guys know who Mr. Chow is?
You didn't even see The Hangover yet?
To him right now.
You didn't see The Hangover, not even on DVD. It already came out. Oh my God!
It's the number 2 comedy of all time.
It will be the number 2 comedy of all time when Joel McHale's Ted comes out 3 years later. That's what I said.
I can anticipate these things. I'm a seer.
Remember that one day I called in sick? It was because Ted was number 1 at the box office. That'd be amazing. Wouldn't that be amazing? Ken's calling in sick. Wow, he's been sick for like 2. He's been sick for 2. And the moment Ted gets to number 2, like I'm feeling all happy. I come in sad.
No face to face with Ken.
Yeah. Could I do more Crystal the Monkey episodes, please, or like mannequin leg stuff, sea stories? That'd be amazing. Yeah. Why? No reason.
Ken, when you fell in love with a charred mannequin leg,
that was fun.
I will say, this is going to be so I remember going like, I remember telling Sam, I was like, I think I'm on the greatest show that's ever been made because this is so insane what's going on. He tried to kill everybody, and he's in love with a charred mannequin leg. Then he tries to get into the study group. I'm just like, this is so wonderful. It makes me so happy.
So you did a stand-up show for Ghosts, and then another Ghost.
My God, that's an underrated. I tell you, season 5, dude, is a gem. Season 5 is a gem.
You're asking us for advice about which Ghost you should listen to. And you look so like
I remember that.
Your hair is everywhere. You're like, it is like, and this is all already by this time. We're all like, we're just gonna let him in the group. He tried to kill us. We're just like, and then you're the guy who played the other security guard. He was amazing. I forget his name. That actor.
Mel
He
Rodriguez.
Was on, Last Man on Earth. Yeah.
Mel Rodriguez. He was on Last Man on Earth. Just an amazing actor.
So that episode, where Wits and you, and he's like, he's so worried about your mental health in that episode.
This man is clinically insane, and you all think that this is a joke. He's mentally ill. So that's why I have to leave.
I remember
there was no like comic there's no comic in his delivery, and very so sincere.
You and Jim are both hearing voices in your head at that time.
We're both moving our mouth.
Yeah.
And like we're talking, going thoughts, and then there is something. My kids laugh at that exchange where you have the two most comically insane characters sharing this story, and I mean, it was just allowing, like, Jim would just lead that, and he said something like, he's talking, Mel is behind him, and if Chang is right here, and he's looking at me, looking at the crazy, like, what Chang hit here is just, with his eyes, you could see the horror in Jim's eye. What Chang is here is saying is making a lot of sense, and the way he's just staring, his eyes, it's one of the most beautiful things ever.
Go back and watch that.
No, but I remember I've said this in interviews where to EW when we were doing the Apollo. Dude,
For those of you at home, that's Entertainment Tonight. I mean, excuse me. I can't even land my own joke. I can't land my joke. I'll tell you why I said Entertainment Tonight later. Goodbye. See ya. I had a beer.
I was talking to a good friend of mine at THR.
Oh, that stands for Vanity Fair.
Yes. No, I remember we had the table read for the Apollo 13 episode, and they had all these concept episodes consecutively, like 7 in a row. And I remember you and I, it was just you and me, Dan, walking back to the stage. We looked at each other like, is this the greatest show of all time? I mean, this is ridiculous. Are we part of the greatest show of all time? How can this be happening? You know, you would think there'd be one weaker episode by like episode 3, you know, and it still would be a great series, but it just was like, wow, the bar was so high. We're like, I
just love how this is why I said Entertainment Tonight, is because Entertainment Tonight, I believe, was our lead-in, because it was the 7:30 magazine show, right? It was a 7:30, or it was Access Hall. It was one of those. It goes into Community, which is up against Big Bang Theory, the biggest show on the planet. And NBC has comedy versus comedy, and we have brilliant Mel, going like, we can put monkey gas into the monkey gas. And I just remember, I was like, what must people think when this show comes on? And then it goes into Parks and Rec, and into, I guess that point, The Office was off at that point, or 30 Rock. I think both of those might have been gone at that point. But I just remember going like, what must people think when they leave the TV on and this show comes on? It must be they were like, I think I've dropped acid, honey. I don't know.
Remember the G.I. Jeff episode in season 5 when that aired? I remember I was at my in-laws' place in San Francisco, and it was still daylight saving time, so it was 8 p.m. It was still light outside, and it just shows the G.I. Jeff episode without any there was no Community live action cold open showing Jeff's coma or whatever. It just literally people thought were like, oh, is Community being preempted? You know, like for like a cartoon? Is it the summer months? There was just no explanation. That'll never be done on broadcast TV again. You know, it'll just never be done. There's just no way. This wasn't on. Everyone's kind of used to this now, but it wasn't on Netflix, wasn't on Hulu, wasn't on Amazon. That was on NBC, 8 p.m. Thursday night. Crazy.
It's crazy.
It's just so good. Yeah,
it's weird to think that, you know, like obviously our children have no concept of like channels and like schedules for things coming out, like programs. They're just used to it being, it's all there. Obviously, I know again now I'm sounding like Ken 10 years ago, but when he was in his 70s.
When I got my dentures? How dare you? How dare you?
I love all those. All right, I'm gonna stop. You're great on Blue Bloods, but
it's a great show. Great show. Them Bloods were blue.
No, I just like it doesn't. That's why, you know, it's weird to think now about how accessibility, because now people go like this. Now we see it you hear about on Netflix, and people are like, hey, this show is great, and I'm like, we've been saying this for 10 years.
You know,
we're trying to get people
when you get those late compliments from people. Hey, finally got around to watching the show 10 years later. It's really good.
Really?
You're really like,
way to dedicate your life to that.
You're my packaging agent. I'm kidding. No, I don't know. It's like
Wait,
no.
And is this going to air? I forget. Is this going to air after the table read, or before?
I think this may air right before it. So, but I
guess it doesn't matter. I guess time is linear.
No, because we had the podcast, and man, I think both me and Joel talked to you, Danny, over the last weekend. It was one of the most enjoyable moments of, of my career, man. It was just so much. It was, it was such a high that you just can't describe how happy it was to see everybody happy. It was so great, man. And man, it was just, it was magic.
I 100% agree. That was, it's just like time right now just being sentimental and thankful for many things, but to be part of this family and to have us together, yeah, it was just beautiful. It really was. And just to be laughing and in the same Zoom room together for a little bit, like, I mean, yeah, we talked about it, but it was really special. And then just to hear people talking about canisters of sperm and kind of forgetting, like, that was big. Just like the swings that our show took from line to line, act 1 to act 2, the emotional arcs that characters went on, and how dense they were every week. Boy, was that a special thing. But to be surrounded by all you guys, it was just awesome. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I cried so much, and I don't cry that way unless I'm at a Ken Jeong movie and
or one of my live shows.
Remember
you were complaining to the concert promoter there wasn't enough tissue.
I was like, dear God, why are these people trapped here?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Go see Ken's show. When we go back out,
it's good to go see Ken show. He's a draw.
He's amazing. I love him. He's my brother. I love my brother. He's great.
I think Danny, you just that reading that thing when you did it in the table read, and then what's his name, the Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal, when he was just like, Abed Adir, yes. Have you ever 9/11 anyone? No. And the way you did it in the show, and then the way you did it in the table read, I was just like, dear God, this show should have. I was like, why could? I was just like, there needs to. Why couldn't this have? It's so weird to be this nostalgic. I'm not this nostalgic. I swear to you, I don't feel like. Wasn't it
not
great
nostalgic
all the time? Yeah, I usually tell
you don't
Ken
like you don't like nostalgia, dude.
No, I hate it. And then usually when Ken and I talk, like I'll be like, "Hey, Ken, that last conversation we had was boring," and I don't want to remember it. It's just like that's how much I hate nostalgia. But I even see like when they're remaking Jordans, I'm like, why? The new ones are just okay, whatever. But
I respect that about you, because sometimes you get on nostalgia trips, and those are actually not good for personal growth. I mean, I really believe sometimes being overly sentimental is not necessarily the best thing. You don't want to. You need to move forward in life. So for you to get sentimental, that's like to me that's.
Oh, it was. Yeah. No, and then Danny was like, because Danny had to hop off because he went to his next Zoom call for the show that he's on now.
Mythic Quest, man. Great show, dude. Great show.
So cool. Best family. Love you guys.
And who has Megan Gans and Rob McElhaney? Oh my God! And then I don't know what Salieri from Mozart. I mean, it's just
Salieri from Mozart. And we got that one guy,
in that other Avenger
movie with the
right?
dog.
Salieri, wasn't he an Avenger? The one that was jealous of the other Avengers?
Yeah, he was in the one of them was in the Phantom with Billy Zane, I think. Anyway, we really did our research.
What is it like to work with F. Murray Abraham? I mean, he's just perfection.
He's incredible. So I mean. It started with Megan Gans. She texted me about this role in the show, and we all love Megan Gans. She
one of the great,
absolute human,
tremendous. She saved us in many ways. Before and
Robert Horry.
But she's incredible. So when she texted me, I was like, I'm in. She texted me. She's like, hey, there's this role I want you to check out for this new show. I'm a big fan of Rob and Always Sunny. So I was like, this sounds like a really interesting combination, and it's been a blast. The cast is incredible. I shouldn't have mentioned all their names. Charlotte Nickdow, Imani Hakim, Ashley Birch, Jesse Ennis. Who else?
Oh, here we go.
Rob McElhaney, of course. But the show's been awesome. It's Apple TV Plus. Check it out.
And it was a hit, right? I mean,
well, they got a second season. They got another. So they're talking about the second season right now.
Started it. And when we got one episode done before COVID.
That table read where there was a part of me that was like, wow, everybody in that, of the 9, everyone has done or are doing their own individual projects or been a part of multiple projects and or actively like you on another series. So it was just so heady where every person is a star and then we're all just hanging out as if time never passed. It was just you just go back to where you were, and it was so joyous, and we all missed that. It was just so even when Allie was moving, I didn't see, and when I saw the podcast Zoom of it, where I didn't realize Allie went to another part of the room or her house and then came back, and then Joel's timing was perfect. Where I think you just said we were talking about something, and then Joel goes, "Oh, Allie's not here. Let me guess. Let me say something. Netflix." And then Allie just comes rushing. What? And then she goes, "Oh my God, I really just love everything you're talking about right now." The way she said it was just so. We're always there when it's sentimental, and then you have like someone just chimes in to puncture the moment. We complete each other's sentences. It was like last week's podcast, or that podcast was, or that Zoom chat was just one long sentence that we all completed, like a Mad Lib. It was really, it was really good.
It was just like a really great Mad Lib. Such a dick. I'll tell you this, that because I still had, so for those of when we taped this thing, because everybody at home had to record and send all their stuff to Sony.
That's right.
And of course, I never sent mine until today. And then the woman who was like leading me, you got to do it. Have you not done it?
I haven't been able to do it. But
you have to send that in.
I did it. I did mine within a couple hours.
I kept trying. It wouldn't work.
Well, what did they say?
They said they're going to try to fix it. I don't know.
They need that soon.
I texting with them, and they were like, "It's all good. We figured it out. We got a backup or something." Because
well,
I think
when everyone turns in their files, they can sync it up to other people who've turned in their files, and if their sound is good, then it's okay.
So when I was like, "And send," she goes, "It's going to take a while," and I was like, "How long?" She goes, "Well, it was she was really cool. She was like, it was a 4-hour Zoom call," and I was like, "Oh right, it was 4 hours." Sat on a Zoom call for 4 hours, and I was like, "Oh, it seemed like an hour."
Shout out to Sony again. I mean, what a great bunch of people that just allowed us to A, air the podcast, and B, just do that table read. It was just so good. Yeah, and I had a couple of questions I printed out. I actually tried to be responsible. I called you, Danny. I literally had just.
No, we can't see with that weird blurry filter. You just held up blurry white blobs.
One of them I loved. It goes, at Untrue Romance says, ask Danny about the chloroform sequence. I just love that scene so much.
Oh my God.
Second season, you, Allie, and Donald. It was beautiful. And that actor who is amazing. He recurred on Grey's Anatomy. I actually worked with him as well. He's so funny. Steven.
He was on ER for years.
He was on Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, he was like the bartender on Grey's Anatomy. And
wait, really? I thought he was on ER too, and I'm not kidding.
He might have been as well.
For years.
No, that person was in.
Oh no, that's a different
season.
guy.
Yeah, third season.
Right. I know exactly where.
Yeah.
Entertainment Weekly tonight. Go ahead.
Let me explain. Let me that joke.
I would have been happy if if there was just no other if that just went on till the end credits, you know.
A lot of that. That's so funny. Chloroform episode, that was like a fun little caper with Donald Allison and I. We had to go do that, that chloroform bit.
Yeah, it was a fun little caper, Danny, but it was like sending 3 snipers in to kill one. Like it was just like they talk about a squad to go in and nail that story. I was just like, dear Lord, this is I don't know how they're doing it. Especially, and then when Donald trips at the end or when they're running out of the room, it's just I can't. It's perfection for me. Yes, I'm gonna stop. I'm now. I like how many people tune into the podcast go like,
it's Ken and Joel complimenting their own show
It
for
is
an hour
hard.
and a half.
I mean,
And they
it
bring
really-
on, yeah.
Because when community fans ask, like, oh, like, answer more questions, and then we answer everything. God, this was perfect. Next question. I don't know. It's so hard to. Oh, so I actually just checked questions I didn't know. Someone actually wrote. That same person wrote, please explain the too many feet bit. I don't know what that was.
How many feet do you have? 4. You have too many feet. Too many feet. 4.
I still don't know what you're talking about.
Does that
You
answer?
did not No, it did not answer anything. You made it worse.
Next question.
Danny, Ken, will you just repeat the question as the next question?
Okay, yeah, all right. Here's a new question.
Yeah.
Please explain the too many feet bit again.
All right.
How many do you have? 4. You have too many feet. 2. 4. Too many. 4. Next question.
All right.
My name has been checked.
I will say that's a bit that Allison and I did real late, probably at 2 a.m. sometime. There's a video on YouTube of us doing this weird video that we had made up. I think Dan Ekman was the one recording it. Donald comments on it.
Good Lord, it wasn't even an episode. That was just so they're fans that just know the bits.
That we were trying to, I don't even know what we were doing. We were just goofing back, between scenes, and somehow ended up on the internet. And it was just this weird, Allison and I had this idea for a weird electronic European dance video that we presented to Donald, and that's what it was.
Okay, I vaguely remember that.
It was the idea was that I was a character who had too many feet.
I remember you guys doing that bit, and I was like, I'm not gonna even ask. This is. I don't need. I was
love
like, now that it's been explained, I'm like, oh, of course.
This is interesting here.
Yes.
Which scene was the hardest for you to get through?
Ooh, hardest scene to get
The
through.
one where the first scene after you broke your nose?
And yeah. 4.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah, go ahead. What do you think it is?
I remember when and this is not an acting difficulty. It was a hair and makeup, which was when you were white Abed.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I remember the physical pain you were in from the
Contact.
insane transformation.
Yeah.
I remember this is how you were in the makeup chair. And because, again, we're working all these crazy hours. You had them on forever, and you were like this.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
And I
almost
remember going like, that's
almost like Tang Tongue there, Joel. That was really funny.
But it
almost
was
like
like
Jeong.
you were like you're exhausted, trying to sit there. They're going to do touch-ups, and you're just in this like this death grip, all of that. And I just remember like, I don't know how you're doing it right now. It's very impressive, but it looks so painful.
Yeah, that was painful. I think it was like a spray makeup on and stuff too. I had a wig on. I think the contacts too that were really bothering me that week. Yeah, that was a tough one physically. I think in terms of like acting wise, I think that my Dinner with Andre episode of Critical Film Studies was very challenging, tough to learn stuff. But it was also thrilling. And then I think the finale. Was just hard.
Oh God, I forgot about the finale. Your speech in the finale, dude.
That was a hard one, I think.
Fuck, it was so hard to do. And you cried in that. But it wasn't. It was just beautiful. It was just a beautiful sequence. Oh my God! And then we did it over because we had to get it right. Yeah.
I love that monologue. So that was really.
I think about that a lot.
Hard because also it was like, we're ending this journey, this crazy journey. So yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
Mm.
TV, man. Woo.
It's just TV. He goes, it's TV. It's not life and death. It's just TV. TV's not supposed to be boastful.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be. It's, because after my own show got canceled, I actually thought about that speech. It was just like, oh, it's just TV. TV's neither boastful, doesn't brag. It's just TV. It just moves on. Every show has to end. And it's actually universal, applies to literally all of us when a project ends. So it really is, that line of dialogue should be bronzed, and it should be available for every actor to reference when something is coming to a close, because it really does put it all in perspective in neither a tragic nor, artificially positive way. It's just, it's pretty, yeah, it's, Jesus, there was a lot of, oh my God.
That's a grand slam. That's 4 grand slams in one game, that speech and your delivery. You son of a bitch.
Okay, this is something that sounds like a dumb question, but I don't know.
Ken, they've all sounded dumb.
Ad Effect
All
SpongeBob.
sounded dumb.
Ad Effect SpongeBob says, "Who came up with the handshake?"
Wait, who does?
Ad Effect SpongeBob.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Who came up with the handshake? I don't remember. I honestly don't remember who came up with
Was
the
it
handshake.
Chevy?
It had to be Chevy.
Yeah, I think so.
So you don't know. You don't know. It just kind of.
I don't remember that. I don't remember. I just remember we clicked from the beginning. I feel like it was probably Joe Russo would know. Maybe he was involved in those moments. I think early on when we were.
Did Joe choreograph that? Hey, Abed. Hey, he goes, hey, do it like this, but then with 3 more fingers. And then do it like this.
But he slapped. Yeah, but he slapped Danny with a sandwich, and that he had it was falling. He was like, "Whoa!"
He goes, let me show you and Donald. Hey, Aunt, come over here. We're gonna do this. I'll have fingers in a Danish. Let's do the Abed. See, oop, my Danish, like you said.
I just remember
Danny?
One day and tapping me on the shoulder and him being like, oh, I got an idea. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's gonna give me some acting advice here. He's like, next week is Mardi Gras. You, me, Ken.
I was about to ask you about that.
Let's go. Okay. And I was like, what? And then we all went. So,
okay, it was you, me, Donald, Allison, and Joe. We all went to Mardi Gras.
Yeah. I was going to go. And
Yeah,
then
what happened?
my wife was. It was because I had tiny little children, and she was like,
baby.
"You're
Tiny.
just going to go away again?"
Isaac was just born.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, "No, I can't go."
you made a
I
good
was
call.
So
You made a good call because, man, there might be stuff we have to edit out of this podcast because there's just so much stuff that
was
I remember doing. It was
all of them. Because
it was so bad.
it was
Oh, Andrew, get ready. We're gonna flag this one. This is so much.
but it
Oh
was,
my God.
I mean, I just remember being on a balcony with like the New Orleans State Troopers, with like Aaron Burr and Reggie Bush, all the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
Ken was going nuts. Everyone knew Ken at that point. You couldn't walk on the
at
street.
that point, everything comes to an end.
Yeah. Hey man, Joel, it's TV. It's not boastful. It ends.
Cut to us. Cut to us on a podcast going like, "Yeah, who are we getting?"
Ken thrown sperm on
My dog doesn't even recognize me in my house.
Quarter just being Ken's playground. And
What
then
was Ken pouring? Wait, Ken was pouring what?
No, the French Quarter. I did my residency in New Orleans, so I knew a lot of the hot spots in the quarter, and
no, he was just making this to everybody in
hey, Danny, I still do that now. Okay.
Yeah, that's what. How do you think he got to know those places
Stop it.
as a
Stop,
resident,
Danny.
as a
Well,
Make
doctor?
that my brand.
top in his delivery. The crowds loved it. And then we ended up at some party and Donald was like rapping. Allison, there's this great picture which I saw today. Someone posted it of Allison, Donald, and I. We're dancing, and Donald's like rapping in the background. And I was like, oh, that's so funny just seeing that. I don't know, Ken, where you were at that point in time. I think you were probably with Joe Russo somewhere. Joe was probably getting us like, who knows what.
Joe has the hookup. I mean, this is a portent of what to come. Joe was, even then, we're like, man, Joe is just connected. He just knows how to move and shake. I mean, he was finding all these bars, even bars that I didn't know, and he would just get all these drinks. He was, I mean, it was getting so much. I literally had to toss shots. I don't like to drink shots. I literally was like, okay, over my, over the shoulder. I was like, too much.
I mean, again, shout out to Joe, because he would be like, hey man, life's about making memories. Let's make memories. I don't even know. And like the next morning I was like so hungover, and I just remember Donald and I was so hungover, and I just remember like Allison running in, right, like a elf, an elf, like running in
like a 5-year-old,
like at like 8 a.m, and we're all passed out, and she is like just like bounced back like nothing.
Let's go. It was just like,
we're like, no, my head and face, I can't feel anything right now. And she was just like ready to go play again. I was like, no, that was a great time.
What I love about Joe,
that
was the first season, right before the finale. And I was rooming with Joe, and we both had, like, he has a down feather allergy. And so he was like, hey, Ken, make sure, remember that? He was like, make sure my pillow doesn't have any down feathers, and I went into doctor mode. I was like, you got it, no problem. And so, and then I think I came to the hotel room before Joe, like one night, and in the pillow that they had was clearly a down feather, and I was just, and I called concierge, sir, my roommate has a down feather pillow, and we told you multiple times that my roommate has a severe allergy, and
he needs a synthetic, sir.
Yeah, please, as soon as possible, deliver the rubber pillow when you get a chance. And I was so stressed out all night that Joe Russo would not be able to sleep on a pillow, because it was like,
right.
Just and by the way, we came back Sunday night, and then we had to film Monday. We're filming.
Oh yeah.
We're filming, and all of us,
so
I remember I had a scene with John Oliver. It was the finale, and then I was just too hungover and too just everything, just don't remember anything about what I did. And Joe was directing, and Joe was in the tent. He had lost his voice. Do you remember that? He had lost his voice. He goes,
you know why? Because he was having an allergic reaction to sleeping on down.
We're just yelling all week in the French. He goes, Ken, can he tone it down on that scene? So he still found time to give me like a note, like to remind me my acting is shitty. And he goes, Ken, would you mind?
That's pretty great. That's pretty great. I love Joe. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I love you, Joe. Oh man.
He's really great, because he's all about adventure. He truly was. And so it was like such a person to have on set when things would get crazy. His just calm and cool. You keep it calm and cool, and end up being like, let's go to Mardi Gras or whatever. Let's go to Comic-Con or. Gosh, yes.
Yeah, he was just on the show, and I always forget. Like, I don't forget. I'm just like, oh right, Joe and Hannah, they're just different than everybody. They just kind of they just see it.
Yeah.
I mean, someone asked here, how did it feel to have it, being in Captain America: Winter Soldier? Because, when that was their first movie, right? So for Marvel.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
Are you asking us or telling us, Ken?
It was like.
Because that was their first
question.
movie.
Actually, it really wasn't a question.
Marvel.
At Lars Fontamilla said, how's it feel having a cameo on Captain America: Winter Soldier? And then he proceeds to lecture us saying, that was Joe Russo, Anthony Russo's first film for Marvel. Like, yeah, I do know. All right, stop.
That's like my parents.
Oh God. great. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just got a text from Joe, classic Joe. Hey,
Yeah.
what are you doing on July 4th? And I was like, I think it was like July 4th. Because I just remember somehow July 4th was involved. And he's like, can you come down to Manhattan Beach? And then I think literally I was just there for the day, secretly shooting a scene because they're like so secretive, right?
Right.
But in the scene, it was interesting because we did two things. And one of them, Captain America punched me. Chris Evans punched me. And I think he knocked me out in one version of it. And then they ended up not using it. But that to me was a dream come true. That was really fun. Because I was like, oh, please let me get knocked out by Captain America. That'd be kind of fun.
Because you're like you're a Hydra agent? Was it the...
I don't know. You got to ask Joe that. I could be Shield. I could be Shield, bro. I could be Shield, bro.
No. He wasn't a Hydra agent. Danny just wasn't a big Fantastic Four fan, so.
Could be Shield, bro.
Did you do your too many feet bit like and just entertained everybody of the MCU?
How many? That's yeah. They weren't into it. They weren't into
Danny,
it.
can you stick to the script, please? Just maybe stick to the script over there and then do there. That'd be great.
Allison's gonna lose her mind when she sees this.
She's gonna be so happy.
Oh my God, yeah, we got to bring that up. That was. Let me see one more.
Yeah,
Okay,
got-
who made at JBT _ official goes by Justin Turner.
Oh, JBT official Justin Turner? Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
I hate the unofficial Justin Turner.
Third baseman for the Dodgers, Justin Turner. Asks, who made you break the most on set?
Who made me break the most? Ken, maybe. I think it's probably you. I would say it's either you. I mean, everyone did at some point. I mean, Donald was a big culprit. Allison, a ton.
Jim. Yeah, Allison.
Jim, always. But I honestly think it was you, Ken, because I think you were like. I think you aggressively sought to try.
Yeah, I would seek you out.
I think you would. Even if scenes didn't involve me, had zero like Jeong and Abed had nothing going on. There was no storyline.
Oh,
And director
Halloween.
toward me, and I'd be like having to make eye contact with you in these scenes. I'm like, what do you want from me?
Halloween, second season, the zombie episode. There's a big crane shot, cinematic crane shot. Yes, I'm in a Peggy Fleming ice skater outfit. My belly's hanging out like this. I'm just sitting on a chair, and Troy and Abed have a conversation.
Yeah, we're trying to have a moment that's in the scene.
You have a moment to wrap up the whole episode, and I was just trying to distract you, and I just went go like this, just kept pointing at you, and I knew I would be in the frame, and I would just keep pointing at you, trying to make you laugh while you're doing it, and it was like 4:00 in the morning, and I'm like, and they couldn't cut around it.
Cut around it.
And we ended up doing a DVD commentary back when they would do DVDs, and we were doing, me and Dan, and I think you guys as well. I think the whole gang was doing a commentary on the season 2 episodes, and Dan said, I never understood, Ken, what were you doing? And I go, and so it's somewhere in the DVD commentary. I'm sorry, I was just trying to make Danny laugh. It's not the DVD commentary. It just
I kind of loved it because it made sense actually for Jeong to try to get some reaction out of Abed.
It does.
That's why it worked, but it was such a fun little obstacle within scenes where I knew if I turned to you,
yeah,
I didn't know what I was gonna get. And that
Kern, and it's always a Chevy Chase. Kevin.
That was one of the best things, Ken's, because Ken would walk into scenes and I remember he'd just stare at Danny for no reason during a scene. I'd be like, why is Ken staring at him? It doesn't make any sense. And I'm just like, oh yeah, Chang's nuts. So he must have some reason to be staring at him.
Would probably try to figure out why Abed is unaffected by this, right? That's in my head. I was trying
maybe because you are playing Abed, and then because you were in character. There was just that I was just immature. I just wanted to break.
So many scenes where I was like, what the hell is Ken fucking doing right
now? I honestly wouldn't do that now. I mean, if we had just met right now on the set, I really feel like I honestly wouldn't do that. Who knows? Maybe after day 4, I'll be even worse.
The fun. It was always so fun. Just trying to get through scenes. Yeah, especially when you had an entrance. Anytime you had an entrance, like when you had to enter in your all black outfit during the Ass Crack Bandit episode.
Oh my God.
That was like there was a face, like your butt was on your front. Like I don't.
There's a face here, and then my butt is on my stomach.
And he's got a churro in his
churro.
In his
coming from my real butt
right.
to the back of my head. That's my fake mouth. A churro from my real butthole to my fake mouth.
I don't know. I had
and I think that's what and I've said this in many interviews. That's what kind of broke me, and that's what led to the bear down for midterms moment, because I was getting kind of burned out 5th year, and I was eating a pine cone sandwich in that Ass Crack Band that got cut. It actually got cut for time, and there was a whole big thing about it, and I'm like, why am I eating a pine? I mean, come on, man. This is like, okay. I mean, I know I'm crazy, but why am I mean, and then I remember, like, I just remember losing it and going, and to see me get upset on a community set, everyone just starts laughing. It's just like, I am sick and tired of having a burrito from my fucking butthole to my fake mouth. What the fuck is so funny about that? Why is everyone laughing when I'm complaining?
I don't know.
That's what Gillian would hyperventilate when you would get mad.
Oh, God. Gillian loves it when I get mad. She is like, that evil. It's like a sister. She just like she actually gains strength the moment. For some reason, it's me more than anybody else. And so when I was miserable, she would delight in just giving me so much shit. I mean, she just would pour salt. And when it was Donald's last day and he had to leave early, and we were doing the lava episode, and Gillian had gotten a food truck and Donald had to leave. He had to leave early, and then you could tell Gillian was disappointed.
Right.
But this is me. This is our brother-sister relationship. I went, for some reason, like 5 o'clock in the morning. I see the look on your face, and you're so disappointed. That's the kind of relationship we had. You spent thousands of dollars for nothing. And then she goes, well, you chipped in. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right.
There was a lot. In terms of laughs, I mean, also, like, it was always a highlight for me watching Chevy read the script for the first time on set. Like, that, to me, always just like just highly, like I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe that either.
It was just outrageous so many times.
Okay.
Just pure outrageousness, I think.
It's what you said in the season 1 evaluation with Dan Harmon. The Joel. He goes, my only complaint about Chevy is that he knows every line of the script by heart. Is that I feel like he's overreading and overanalyzing the scripts, and it's just too much in his. It's just Did
I say that?
Yeah, you said that. It was so funny. My only complaint is that he's way too invested in all the characters. It's like, hey, save some for us.
Dick.
No, it was. Everything was in spirit of fun of those. Remember those season 1 and season 2 evaluations?
Yeah.
Those are great.
Dan led those.
I just remember season 2 was the trivia thing. We had like a thing or something. We had like
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't remember that at all? We had like a trivia contest.
I think I saw. I think it was for Vulture or something. Yeah.
That's season 2 outtakes. End of
season 3, I think. It was like for Vulture.
Oh, okay.
I remember. It was really funny. Remember that?
Don't you remember the mommy bloggers? Were you for that? Were you there for that?
No, I
Kenny?
think
You're probably shooting a scene.
yeah, you're probably.
Yeah.
It was me, Joel, and John Oliver talking to mommy bloggers.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah. I'll tell you. And they were so mad that I didn't retweet them. They're like, we've retweet, and they kept retweeting at me like, we'd like you to retweet the interview. And I was like, but this,
No.
I don't want to. And then I realized like, oh, they were just coming to get followers on Twitter. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. What a dick. Danny, I have to show you what I drank tonight.
What did you drink? I can't say.
Oh, yes. Pliny Elder.
Good one, man. I've been drinking some good IPAs lately, some hazies, but that's a good one.
Danny and I really enjoy beer, and we can handle it, Ken.
Heineken!
Light.
That's good. Hey, I'll get you in on this. I'll get you. Just Heineken.
Believe me, if they sponsor the podcast, it's my favorite beer in the world. All right, we've gone for 2 hours, Ken.
This is the longest we've done, so this is great, Danny.
Is this a record?
This is for a guest. Yeah, absolutely. Because usually we talk for about 45 minutes before we bring on the guest, but no, this is like the first time. This is
I don't know how this will be edited, and I'm not going to keep it long. But Danny, you are one of the best fucking people in the world, and I'm not going to say anything else. I'm leaving. Bye.
Oh,
See you later. I won.
So
I
much.
won. I won.
I love you guys forever.
Well, first of all, I'm here, and second of all, he said that staring at me, and then second of all,
here's what I want to say. Go watch Mythic Quest.
Yes.
Go watch that weird German movie that never made it in America that Danny was in.
What was that?
Which one?
That one you shot in Germany?
Oh, no, don't watch that one. Watch The Tiger Hunter if you're into Netflix as well. Check that out, but watch Mythic Quest. I think you'll really dig it. Megan Gans, awesome, funny show. 9 episodes. You speed through it. Nice companion to Community.
I like that Brian's kind of Jeff Winger-esque kind of character, on the show.
Watch that.
Kind of like, it's been nice to have to be a dick. It's been kind of fun to be like this sort of who's no allegiances, right? Just kind of like flies through. Everyone has to kind of keep up with Brad, so it's been like a fun character to play. There is definitely a winger aspect to him. I get to wear some kind of cool clothes. It's a fun character to play with, especially within the video game world. I actually got to meet with a video game consultant.
What was that like? Oh man, that must have been
amazing. She was actually Polish too, but she was in a monetization department, and it was just so funny listening to her take about how pretty much everyone like hates her because her job is to monetize the game, right? So all the creatives are constantly like pushing, like quit putting loot crates in the game, and all these things. But she's really good at her job, and if it's not for the money people, the lights aren't on. So it's a cool new character for me to play for sure.
But the pressure of those launching of video games, I don't play video games, so so watching it, the pressure of those launches is like once. Well, I have to wear my carpal tunnel. I have to wear all these braces and casts while I do it, and I'm on a win. But it's like the premiere of a movie. It's just so stressful.
Yeah, they're bigger.
They're
bigger.
Yeah. So.
And they make all the money on the planet.
I know. I've been playing nonstop with my son. Now we're playing a lot of, Nintendo Switch, playing Brawlhalla, playing, we're playing Madden. Started playing NBA 2K with them, which has been fun.
My kids are all still Fortnite City. I don't know if your boy's into that yet, but hold on to your hat.
Roblox.
Yeah. They like that. They also like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
They're 12 and 15, so.
Yeah, so he'll get there. I mean, he asks me literally every day about different video games and asks me if they're appropriate or not. So that's our conversation every single day. Is that appropriate? No. Is that appropriate? Hey, Travis Scott's doing a concert in Fortnite. Is that appropriate?
He did. 28 million people showed up.
Unbelievable, right? I'm like,
yeah.
it's crazy, So it's fun to be part of that world because it's just like, man, these I mean, it's highly creative and it's just, I mean, yeah, it's just everywhere now, right?
Yeah.
I remember, like, remember we got on that text chain. We heard your kids, do like their impressions of people on Community. It was like I kept those voicemails. It was so cute. It's so cute.
Highlight of this quarantine, thankfully we're all safe. Heart goes out to everyone out there. But we've been watching Community every day, so that's been like a fun, like, just something we could do as a family, watching an episode or two every day. And it's like, it's been that time has helped kind of make it feel fresh again. I've forgotten enough of the show where it's consistently surprising. But it also just feels good, and it's just so funny. And they're at a wonderful age where a lot of stuff makes sense. Like they'll crack up at like an episode where we sewed a butt to Chevy's chest during this, like,
that Halloween episode. Yes.
In Daybreak around the house, fantastic.
Oh, that's so great.
But it's just like that's been like a real, like, special thing over the last, like, month. So it's been cool.
Love you, brother, and thanks for hanging out with us. And
yeah, I know we kept you up late.
I know we kept you up late. Yeah.
Like, go Seahawks.
Go Seahawks. Go Sonics. Go Sounders. Go Rain.
Go Will Purdue. Let's just go deep right now, Danny. Let's just go Will Purdue. Let's just call this podcast Will Purdue or Luke Longley. One of those.
And what time is it?
Game time. Yeah. What time is it? 11:18 p.m. Okay, great. That's the Bulls.
We're gonna name this episode "The Darkest Timeline." Special guest Phil Jackson, and it's gonna be great.
This was delightful. I love you guys so much.
Love you, man.
Danny, thank you for hanging there as long as you did.
Yeah.
Very nice to stay on. One of the people on the planet.
I agree.
Not a great runner.
I will learn to fall someday. I will learn.
Hands come out in front of you. Do not use your nose.
I'm not getting a nose job, Joel.
You want me to just get in there and while we're there, we might as well just
chip away at this.
And then a little bang.
Chip away at this. Keeping that thing, baby.
Just
for my elders.
In there and I'll fix it. And let me just show you.
This for my elders.
Make a couple of things. You'll be Angelina Jolie before you know it.
Bird face forever.
Danny Pudi for president. All right.
Love you all.
Danny, love you, brother.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye, team.
Right on.
Bye.
Danny Pudi, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, he's still here. Fuck. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, wow. Just, man.
That was really fun.
That was fun, man. He's just really, like, there's just not a nicer.
I think I laughed harder in that one than any other one. That was so funny. Just
the stuff with Allison, man. It's all coming back to me about Too Many Feet. Doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it's so good.
Well,
Ken, that was, I remember that. I really do remember that bit, and I was just like, I don't even know what they're doing. I gotta go memorize something, and it was so fun. That was what was so great about having them on set, is that it was just play. It was playtime in the best way.
Yeah.
I'll stop talking. We should stop talking. It's 2 hours.
We should stop talking too. It's been it's been a moment, but it's really good because we owe the fans, an Abed podcast. We owe them, a Danny Pudi podcast because he really, the heart and soul of the show, in terms of just really being. He was just the glue, He was glue in front of the camera, and he was just glue off camera. You just couldn't get a kinder soul, and also a better actor than Danny Pudi. You're right. They're just like, no one's ever said an unkind word about that guy because he truly is one of the nicest people.
And like you said, he was pulling off. He was dancing over 30 lasers to get to a Fabergé egg in a museum every single show, and he made it look like they weren't even there. He had
to go into a different character, a different cadence, a different physicality.
Yeah.
He was just, and even when he would improvise, he would not improvise as Danny Pudi. He was improvise as Abed. It's so even the zings that he would do, it'd only have to be consistent in that universe. So it's very, any actor listening right now understands that it's very, very hard to pull off because I ad lib as Ken Jeong and even those are shitty. It's just so hard.
Oh, Ken, stop the insulting of yourself. I hate it because then it makes me look terrible. All right, we got to go. This is the Darkest Timeline podcast. Yes. We'll see you again next week with Phil Jackson, Robert Ory.